Throughout African folklore, black women have long been essential figures, often portrayed as storytellers, warriors, and cultural guardians. These roles are not merely fictional, they are powerful narratives that reflect the wisdom and resilience inherent in African societies. The stories crafted and recounted by black women serve as conduits for cultural transmission, often embodying morals, historical lessons, and societal values that have been passed down through generations. Their involvement in folklore signifies the deep respect and authority they command within their communities, often tasked with preserving and sharing vital cultural knowledge. The significance of black women's roles in African folklore is profound. As protagonists, leaders, and mythical beings, these women shape not only the tales themselves, but also influence real-world perceptions and understandings of cultural heritage. Their narratives frequently explore themes of strength, endurance, and transformation, central tenets that resonate and inspire across the continent and beyond. Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba is one such iconic figure. Celebrated as a leader and warrior, her story is not only a historical account, but also a folkloric symbol of resistance and strategic acumen. Similarly, the legendary figure of Mami Wata, a water spirit revered in many African cultures, embodies both the nurturing and mysterious aspects of feminine power. These examples illustrate how black women in folklore reflect both real historical influence and mythical authority, offering role models and sources of inspiration. Nevertheless, there are challenges and alternative viewpoints related to this concept. Some argue that folklore, by nature, may occasionally reinforce traditional gender roles or stereotypes. Others contend that the emphasis on folklore might overshadow the real, historical achievements of African women, suggesting a need to balance mythical narratives with historical factuality. Despite these considerations, the overwhelming perspective remains that these stories are crucial for understanding the cultural fabric of Africa. This intersection of folklore and historical reality influences broader themes within African culture, such as identity, communal values, and gender dynamics. It underscores the pivotal role of women not only as cultural custodians, but also as dynamic participants in the ongoing narrative of African history. By examining these tales, we gain insights into the enduring legacy and strength of black women, and how they continue to shape both the narrative and reality of African societies today. Through this, the rich tapestry of African folklore serves as both a reflection and a driving force of the continent's cultural vitality. The concept of storytellers of wisdom and resilience, in the context of African folklore, underscores the critical role black women have played as the keepers and sharers of cultural narratives. These women have been the conduits of oral traditions, using stories to impart wisdom, preserve history, and instill values. Their storytelling goes beyond mere entertainment. It serves as a tool for education, cultural continuity, and social cohesion. Black women, through their narratives, have demonstrated resilience, using stories to survive, adapt, and thrive in the face of adversity. The significance of this point within the broader topic of African folklore and culture cannot be overstated. Storytelling has been a vital means by which African cultures have preserved their histories and traditions, especially in the absence of written records for much of history. Black women have been central to this process, anchoring communities with their tales that reflect both individual and collective experiences. Through their stories, they have communicated lessons of resilience and strength, which have equipped generations to deal with the complexities of life. For instance, the tale of Anansi, often attributed to female storytellers, covers themes of cleverness and resourcefulness. This character, frequently depicted as a spider, uses wit and cunning to overcome challenges, imparting the value of intelligence over brute force. Another example can be found in the stories of Mami Wata, a water spirit widely venerated across Africa. These tales, often narrated by women, explore themes of transformation, power, and the balance of nature and human technology, providing metaphors through which communities have navigated change. Supporting opinions highlight the invaluable role of these women as cultural custodians. Many scholars argue that their narratives underscore the richness of African oral literature and its impact on global literary traditions. However, challenges and controversies exist. such as the risk of these oral traditions being lost in the wake of globalization and modernization. Some may argue that the focus on oral traditions overlooks the contributions of African women to written literature and other forms of cultural expression. Ultimately, this aspect of storytelling by Black women is deeply connected to their roles as warriors and guardians of culture. Their stories do not just inform, they inspire action, fortify identities, and foster continuity. As storytellers, Black women have laid the foundations for cultural resilience, ensuring that African traditions remain vibrant and influential across generations. Through their narratives, they have profoundly influenced perceptions of gender and cultural identity, not only in Africa, but around the world. Warrior queens and guardians of culture refers to the powerful and influential roles that Black women have historically played in African folklore and real life as both fierce protectors and custodians of traditions in their communities. These women were not only leaders in wartime, but also defenders of cultural heritage and storytellers who ensured the continuity of their people's identity and values. Their importance transcends mere myth, embodying the lived experiences and struggles of countless generations, and offering lessons in resilience, leadership, and cultural preservation. Central to the broader topic, the significance of warrior queens and guardians of culture lies in the embodiment of strength and authority these figures provide. They are emblematic of the enduring legacy and impact of Black women throughout African history. By leading during times of conflict and advocating for their communities, they not only shaped political and social dynamics, but also reinforced cultural continuity. Their stories serve as potent narratives that underscore the deep connection between leadership and cultural survival. Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba, in present-day Angola, exemplifies this as a noteworthy leader who resisted Portuguese colonization in the 17th century. Known for her diplomatic acumen and military strategy, Nzinga's leadership was instrumental in maintaining the sovereignty and cultural identity of her people. Another example is the spiritual entity Mami Wata, often depicted as a water spirit across various African cultures. Representing both the nurturing and fierce aspects of nature, Mami Wata epitomizes the guardian role, upholding traditions and reflecting a rich tapestry of spiritual beliefs. Opinions that support this idea often highlight the undervalued contributions of women in historical narratives, emphasizing the need to recognize their vital roles in shaping societies. Yet challenges arise in the form of insufficient historical records, leading to underrepresentation or romanticization of these figures. Additionally, some perspectives might argue that the focus on warrior queens could overshadow the contributions of everyday women who also played crucial roles in maintaining cultural legacies. This aspect of folklore profoundly influences other parts of the main topic, such as the storytelling tradition. The leadership and guardianship roles of these women often become central themes in the stories passed down through generations, ensuring that their wisdom and resilience continue to inspire future generations. In this way, the legacies of warrior queens and cultural guardians are woven into the fabric of African folklore, underpinning the enduring strength and influence of Black women across the continent. Queen Nzinga and Mami Wata are monumental figures in African folklore, embodying the spirit and strength of Black women as reflected in the storytelling traditions across the continent. Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba, a 17th century warrior queen, is celebrated for her military acumen, political intelligence, and ferocious resistance against Portuguese colonialism. Her tales of strategic alliances, warfare, and diplomatic prowess highlight both her resilience in protecting her people and her role as a guardian of her people's culture and sovereignty. Mami Wata, on the other hand, is a figure of spiritual lore. Often depicted as a mermaid or water spirit, she symbolizes fertility, wealth, and healing. Stories of Mami Wata emphasize themes of transformation and mysticism, with many attributing her figure to the African diaspora's interaction with water, trade, and cross-cultural exchanges. The significance of Queen Nzinga and Mami Wata lies in their embodiment of the central themes of power and endurance in African folklore. Their narratives serve as core examples of how Black women have been instrumental in shaping cultural values and community identities. Queen Nzinga's leadership and defiance against colonial forces illustrate the historical warrior essence, while Mami Wata's spiritual guidance underscores the importance of storytelling as a means of retaining cultural heritage across generations. One specific example highlighting the significance of these figures is Queen Nzinga's pivotal role in the negotiations with the Portuguese, which has been celebrated in numerous African countries and remains a symbol of resistance against oppression. Another example is the enduring presence of Mami Wata in African and diasporic religious practices, serving as a link to ancient cultural roots and demonstrating the lasting impact of these stories on spiritual and cultural life. Scholars and cultural historians often praise these figures for their contributions to African heritage, viewing them as symbols of female empowerment and resilience. However, some challenges include differing interpretations of Queen Nzinga's alliances and the occasionally syncretic nature of Mami Wata's image, which can shift when viewed through various cultural lenses. The stories of Queen Nzinga and Mami Wata connect deeply to the broader theme of Black women's legacy in Africa by illustrating the diverse roles these women play as warriors, spiritual figures, and cultural custodians. By examining these iconic figures, we gain a deeper understanding of the enduring influence of African women in folklore and acknowledge their impact on cultural narratives, reinforcing the overarching celebration of their strength and legacy.